for joining us, and apologies for the delay, but better late than never. We're absolutely thrilled to welcome you to this special press conference as we officially tip off the first ever BUDX NBA House in India. Now, to help us talk through what this event is about and the entire cultural momentum that's happening in India, we're joined by three very special guests today. First, I'd like to introduce you to NBA legend and Hall of Famer, Mr. Gary Payton. It's an absolute honor to have you with us in India. Widely known as the Glove for his defensive prowess, Gary is a member of the NBA's 75th anniversary team, which recognizes the greatest players in league history. Over his storied career, he's played with teams like the Lakers, Bucks, and Celtics, sharing the court with icons like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. Next, we have Raja Chaudhary, who's the NBA Asia Head of Strategy and the NBA India Country Head. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Vineet Sharma, who's the Vice President, Marketing and Trade Marketing, AB and Bev India. You'll hear more today about what we can expect this upcoming weekend, the growing cultural impact of basketball and the culture that surrounds it, and how the NBA and Budweiser are coming together to create something that is truly unique. With that, let me hand it over to Raja to set the stage and talk about the vision that led to BUDX NBA House.
Thanks, Trisha. Morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here. I just want to echo Trisha's comments. Thank you, Vineet, for your support on this adventure, and obviously thank you, Gary, for being here. You know, I've had the pleasure of working with Gary a couple of times, and he's an absolute legend of the NBA game. So it's a real privilege for us to have him here in India, a Hall of Fame legend, as Trisha mentioned. So we're really, really excited to have you here, Gary, and thank you for being with us. It's a truly exciting day for us at the NBA India office. We're here to launch the first ever BUDX NBA House in India, and it's truly an exciting cultural moment for us in the country, and celebrates the progress of basketball in this country. It also helps to, I think, identify tangential areas to basketball, which we've realized in India are super exciting. There's many different ways in which fans engage with our brand, be that fashion, lifestyle, music, so many different elements that the NBA brand represents. So we're truly excited to bring all that together at BUDX NBA House. You know, as we grow the sport in the country, we're trying to really spotlight the culture that surrounds the game. All those different elements that I mentioned earlier are really a connection point between the NBA brand and on-court activities that we have, but also the off-court activities that the NBA brand represents. In 2021, we actually launched our social platform called NBA Style. NBA Style is a social and digital platform which now has a couple 100,000 followers in India. It was uniquely launched in India to really bring together some of the elements I mentioned earlier around lifestyle, music, fashion, culture that support a lot of the off-court activations that the NBA represents. And really what BUDX NBA House aims to do is to bring all that together in a bold expression of an on-ground activation that really fulfills that vision that NBA Style started for us. Over the past few years, we've seen really exciting momentum and growth in basketball interest in India. We now have over 6.5 million followers on our social handles locally within India. We've also had our junior NBA program running for the last 12 years in the country, which has reached over 15 million kids in India. It's also coached 15,000 PE teachers, and it's been running, like I said, for 12 years across 35 cities in India. So we're excited to continue our efforts on the grassroots side. One of the missions of the NBA is to bring people together in and around basketball. And really, that's what BUDX NBA House is designed to deliver. And it allows all of our fans a couple of different ways to engage with us. Obviously, you've got our hardcore basketball fans that will be excited and will be attending this weekend. But you've also got the peripheral fans that have touch points into the NBA through, as I mentioned earlier, fashion, lifestyle, sneakers, and music. So it's really bringing those things together. The weekend is not just a 2-day event, but it's a celebration of all things basketball culture. We're going to have a lot of activations and activities around the 2 days event. Some of those include basketball-themed activities, but we'll also have really iconic music performances. We're going to have some fashion programming. There's going to be sneakers. There's going to be art. One of the things we're really excited about is our 3-on-3 celebrity game as well, which is unique to this market, and it's going to be featuring some pretty big stars: Badshah, Disha, Patani, Varun, Sood, Rannvijay, Singha. So we're excited about that. Gary, maybe I'll bring you in. I know you're coaching one of the teams for the 3-on-3 celebrity game, so would love to get your perspective on that, and also just maybe your initial thoughts on being in India for the first time and what you've seen and your experience so far.
Well, a lot of the stuff you have said is about how NBA is trying to get around different countries. And being here in India for 12 years and getting the junior NBA to get involved and get these kids to have a basic goal to become an NBA basketball player. So for me to come over here and coach and have a lot of the celebrities, we're getting a lot of these kids dreams to play in a lot of things and be in the NBA. As you know, the finals is about to start in a day or so. So these kids are watching on TV, and for us to come over here and them get an opportunity to touch us, see us, feel us, and do things like that, it's going to be a great thing for the NBA and India. Especially for me to be my first time over here ever, to come here and coach these guys. But the object here is to have fun. That's the thing it is out here. BUDX is going to do a good job of making that happen. So you guys got to come out here and make it happen too. The promise for kids. That's what we want. We want these kids to understand that their goal for the NBA is reachable. And that's why we're here to help that. And that's what it's going to be. I'm going to try to make this, me and Derek Fisher, the most fun time that you guys can have. Enjoy. You know, it's not that serious. It's an enjoy thing. This is what we come out here to do, to enjoy and build a relationship and build a foundation. So now that the NBA wants to have games here, we want to have a lot of things here, and then have a player come from India and represent India in the NBA. That's what we're trying to make goals and make these kids better.
Love it. Thank you, Gary. As you mentioned, we've obviously got Derek Fisher coming into town as well, another NBA legend who's won 5 championships, so we're excited to have him in town for the weekend as well. We've also got dancers and performers from the Sacramento Kings joining us this weekend. So a lot of exciting stuff. We're thrilled to be partnering on this whole adventure with BUDX NBA House with Budweiser. Maybe I'll hand over to you, Vineet, to just comment on your perspective on BUDX NBA House, how you sort of envision this exciting adventure with us, and what your thoughts are for the weekend.
Thank you, Bradshaw. Thank you, Gary. It's an amazing time to be in India, leading such an important brand, which is Budweiser. Budweiser is, globally, India is the 4th largest country for Budweiser, and we want to grow the brand exponentially. We're the leaders in the premium segment in India, and we are working very closely with communities, working very closely with fans in the spirit of music, sports, lifestyle, and culture. And we have the most powerful brand in India, and it's a heritage brand from 1876. This is a brand that has led cultures, very strong partnership. Brand from US. And has traveled across the globe, very similar to NBA, right? Started in the US and now across the globe, it's coming across. I was very happy to hear what Gary was saying, that live your dreams and seize the opportunity. That's something that Budweiser stands for, and that's why it's an amazing partnership. Our values of the brand are built on freedom, ambition, authenticity, and a lot of these things are in close collaboration with what NBA does. big fans of fan culture. We really want to build and develop that. Again, similar synergies with NBA, and that's why we are sitting on the same table today, bringing alive a big dream of BUDX NBA. Our partnership, by the way, on our two companies is not only an India partnership, it is a global partnership between AB InBev and NBA. We have multiple brands across the globe where we activate. Michelob is one of our big brands we activate in US. Harbin is another brand that we activate in China or with NBA. And we have a great fortune to activate now Budweiser brand here in India. I think it's a great step forward. BUDX for us is an IP that transitions into music, fashion, lifestyle, and we debuted this property in 2017. And post that, we have brought this IP with Dot, with IPs like Magnetic Fields, Lollapalooza, Supersonic. We have brought this IP in bigger and bigger manner in the world of music. We are very happy to first time bringing this IP in the world of sports, and that's where we are so excited with this partnership. And yeah, I can't wait for the next 2-3 days. It'll be a great time when fashion, culture, basketball, fans, music, and of course, great players with Budweiser will be coming together. But all towards building this experiential and fan culture in India, which is growing exponentially. And all of us have been here in India in the last 24 months. The craze about events and culture and lifestyle has just increased. And we believe both our brands, NBA and Budweiser, are in the forefront to capture that. And this partnership has been a long time in making. A lot of people behind the scenes have helped to bring this alive. I'm very, very excited that what we will do today. I think one thing I'll again echo for what Gary was saying, this is a great platform to bring a lot of homegrown talent as well as global talent to come in together. Whether it's in the world of basketball, but also in the world of music, you will see a lot of musicians who are not just global artists, but also local artists coming together. Even fashion, you will see that you will see a courtside couture of a lot of upcoming homegrown designers who will be coming and bringing alive their act. Very excited about the 3v3 game. Gary, I'm sure your team will kick ass of the other team, I'm pretty sure. But it's going to be a great game, and I'm very, very excited to see that in person. And of course, the friends of Budweiser and NBA will be there together. And I'm sure each one of us will have a great time. Not just having bonding over basketball, but fashion, culture, lifestyle, music. That's something that we will really own. And this is the first of many. I'm very excited of how this partnership will unfold in India. And this is the first of many, and we will explore this globally to multiple other countries as well.
Great. Thank you, Vinny. Before we go to Q&A, maybe I'll just touch on another point with you, Gary. As Vinny mentioned, a lot of what we're trying to do with BUDX NBA House is around culture. And just wanted to get your thoughts on sort of the NBA's journey as a cultural movement almost, right? Since your playing days, and maybe you can give us some perspectives from then and how that's evolved. It's even more prominent now with social media and all these things, but just love to get your thoughts on sort of the NBA as a cultural movement.
Well, as we said, the cultural movement is big because of music, because of fashion. If you guys have now looked at our All-Star game, that's what it's all about. It's an entertainment. Yeah. And that's what the NBA is trying to do. That's why we're branching out to a lot of different countries, especially having a partnership with Budweiser. Budweiser can come to the United States and do things. Because as these people know, if we see anybody over here in India who has a good culture in music or in fashion, can go to the All-Star game, can come up in there and come to the United States and then get opportunity that way. From when I came into the league 3 decades ago, we didn't have social media. Social media is a big prominent thing of the United States right now and of the NBA. That's how we get a lot of things out, and a lot of these kids look at it. Especially with a guy named Steph Curry, who is in our league right now, where a lot of these young kids are very, very prominent of him because of the way he shoots the basketball. That's why they play these games, these these PlayStation games and stuff, because he plays that way. This is the type of stuff that we're marketing now. Their weapon now is the three-point shot. Our weapon when I was playing was the big man. When I had Shaquille, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Yao Ming. We had guys like that. So the culture is changing, and we have to change with the culture. And that's what's happening now. And music is a big part of our culture right now in our NBA, because a lot of these young guys now are listening to this music. As you see, they're doing cameras now where we come in about fashion. They're walking to the locker rooms with different outfits and stuff on. That's the way our culture is changing. And that's just the way it is. And we have to change with the culture. And that's what the NBA is doing. It's just changing with the culture. That's why you get the award of best dress for the year. You know what I'm saying? They give the awards out. And that's what the NBA is trying to do, because we have to stay with the culture with these kids. Because these kids are going to look at this type of situation. Plus, you know, we got older people that want to do it too. They want to stay involved, who are really diehard basketball fans. You know, so, and I'm still involved because my son plays in the NBA for the Golden State Warriors. So we stay involved because we want to keep evolving and revolving. NBA is not going to stop. This culture is not going to stop. So we're going to have to keep pushing it and pushing it. And that's just the way it's going to be. And I think the NBA is doing a great job, especially by having this 3-on-3. This is what's going on now. 3-on-3 basketball. They've made it into the Olympics. They made it into a sport where people are watching this. And this is the kind of situations that the NBA wants to do and give people opportunities to be great and have a future in doing these type of situations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that brings us to the end of this round. Thank you to Gary, Raja, and Vineet. We'd now like to open the floor to any questions. Whoever would like to ask a question, I just request you to state your name, publication, and then proceed with your question. Sure.
Hello. Hi, my name is Ishan Bhattacharya. I'm from Athlon Sports. Gary, my question for you is, you mentioned how in your time it was the big men who were dominating. The 2025 NBA Finals pits the Pacers and the Thunder against each other, led by two supersonic guards in Tyrese Haliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as one of the greatest defensive players of all time. What would be your strategy if you were on either team on how to stop these, offensive phenoms like Shai and Tyrese?
Well, it's not just them two. They lead it. But you have to understand, with these two teams, they have other basketball players are very dominant. And right now, it's a different type of style of basketball than I play. When I played, I can put my hands on them, I can control them and things, but you can't do that now. But what I would do with either one of them guards, I would try to trap them and make other people win the basketball game. I think this is going to be a great series because all of them match very well together. They both play great defense. They're all athletic on every aspect of every position. So I think with the two superstars, especially the MVP and Alexander and Shai, I think that you have to get the ball out of his hand. Make other people beat you. I think even with Haliburton, when he has a great game, the Indiana Pacers go. And if you get them two out of their game, make it hard for each other. Make somebody else who has not been in that situation win these basketball games. But I like it because they both play defense. They both are gritty. They got 5 guys on the floor at all times of both teams that can go at each other. And I think this is going to be a great series. I really do think it can go to 7 games. The first one who loses on their home court is probably going to be the victorious. There's one to be a loser. So I just think that is happening. But if they keep and win on each floor, we'll have a game 7 going back in Oklahoma. So let's just see. We're looking for this. This is what we've been looking for a long time. 2 great basketball teams coming to play against each other and get our ratings up there and get it high. And I think these 2 teams are those 2 teams. They're the best 2 teams. Right now in the NBA, Oklahoma has been the best team all year, winning as many games as they did, 60 and plus. And let's see what Indiana got for them. Indiana surprised a lot of people and made it out of the East. So we thought Boston was going to do it, but Indiana was right there. I think the 2 best teams are in the finals, and I think these 2 best teams are going to show who is the best team in the NBA.
Thanks, Gary.
Hi Gary, Aditya Krishnamurthy with NBA Analysis. I just wanted to ask you about the recent news of New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau being let go by the New York Knicks. Certainly a controversial decision given the fact that they just reached the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since the year 2000. And as someone who's experienced so much playoff success and reaching multiple conference finals with multiple different teams, do you think that can kind of affect the morale in the locker room going forward? And just as an aside, what do you think of the decision, and do you have any potential replacements in mind?
That's a great question. I was very surprised at that. But this is a business. When an owner sees that he goes into his office and said, can we go any further than where we are? I've done a lot. The New York Knicks did a lot this offseason to acquire a lot of players and acquire people to get to that level. So I think he wants to win now. Now with Thibodeau, I don't think it was fair. I didn't think the firing of Malone in Denver was fair. I don't think the firing of the Memphis coach, both teams were very high in their conference at the time when they got fired. But it's a business. I think that the ownership and the personnel, the higher people in Knicks didn't think that they could get any further, and they knew they needed a different approach. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't blame coaches. I really don't. I blame players, because we get players to this situation. You put them in there, and they have to perform. Now, should they motivate them and should they put them in the right position to succeed? Yes. A lot of people said he did the wrong thing of playing a lot of players too much. Okay, but what are you trying to do? You're trying to win. And I think he felt that team was on there that should win. And I would have did the same thing and left my players on there. As I coach now, I leave my top players on the floor. I just call timeouts and get them rest. But as you move forward, no, the Knicks won't have any problems. Whoever they go and get, they're going to go get a coach that's going to be able to relate to Bronson, Bridges, and all them guys, Towns. They have to. But I think you have to get these players to play for you. You got to get them to play. Now, is it the right players there to get over the top? We don't know. They made a decision to blame it on the coach. They blamed it on him. Now let's see what they do and bring in a new coach and see how that works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it do. So I don't believe in that. I believe in the players got to come and perform. Let them perform. We'll see what happens. I don't know if a new coach is going to get a different culture there. We'll see. But they're going to have to make changes too again and see what it's going to take. Because last year, I didn't think they were supposed to beat Indiana then. Indiana got hurt. So I think Indiana was just a better basketball team. And I just think that it's a business. They did what they thought was better for their New York Knickerbockers organization. And we'll see what happens next year.
Thank you, Gary.
Hi Gary. Hi Gary, hi Raja, hi Vineet. First of all, welcome to India, Gary. Good to see you here. A lot of NBA fans are excited to see you at the weekend event. Given that how the NBA has evolved and you have seen how the offensive wave has now dipped down and you see a lot more defense coming in, how do you see the next decade of NBA going over with the way the game is going to change, and how the CBA has changed the way how everyone looks at the game and the roster construction?
Well, I would rather see a lot more defense. It's a lot of offense. And you see the two teams that's in the finals now, why do you think they're there? Because they play defense. They got stops. They made big stops. And I think the way that Indiana plays and the way that Oklahoma plays, especially Oklahoma, they were the highest rated defensive team in the NBA this year. And that's why they're there. That's why they won. They only lost probably about 14, 15 games. because the simple fact is they play defense and they're stingy. I think basketball is going towards what people want to see. Kids want to see a lot of scoring. I think when you get in this situation of the playoffs, it changes. It's hard to beat somebody 4 or 5 times, 4 times in a row, when they can look at you and scout you and do things. Now, when you beat somebody in January and they don't have to pay them again until May or April, that's a long time. But when you got to play them back to back to back and beat them, that's very hard, and they can adjust. I think that basketball is going that route. This is the era that we have to see. But I think all the time in playoffs, the teams that win championships are the teams that play great defense and are really basically gelling at the right time. Oklahoma has been gelling all year because they do play defense. They have, I think, 2 players on their team that made all the league in defense, and that's what it is. You know, and Indiana has been playing very well lately of just locking down, especially with the guards and what they've been doing in Indiana. Their guards have been very, very dominating. It's going to be a great game, and it's going to be a great matchup for the Oklahoma City guards. And I just think it's going in the right direction. The NBA is going in the right direction because it's going into a culture. We change cultures. I grew up watching Magic and Bird. I looked at them. Then I came to my era. And then we looked at me, Michael, Reggie, Charles Barkley, all of us, Scottie Pippen, and then they went to their era, you know, with Kobe, LeBron. So it's an era change, and that's what it does. And what I think is that we should get more of stop switching, stop doing all that crazy stuff. Let's just play straight up defense and just play. You know what I'm saying? Stop having big men on little men and dominate them. I think we gotta start getting through picks, doing things. I think Oklahoma does that. I think Indiana does that. That's why they're here. That's why they're the final 2. And that's what the culture is for me. I like going to see games like that. I don't want to go to a game and see somebody score 130 points. For what? You know what I'm saying? And somebody has 50 points, and then his other player has 55. That's not a wash for me. That's crazy. I think I want to see somebody stop somebody. I want to see somebody take accountability of taking a person out of the game who's very valuable to their team. And that's what I want to see. I want to see stuff like that. And that's what I dictate to my son all the time. So when you get on the floor, guard the best player. Don't shy away from nobody. Guard the best player, do what you gotta do. And that's why he's got the old school basketball game into him right now. Because he guards everybody from 1 to 5. And I love that. So, you know, the game is gonna be the way it's gonna be. We're gonna keep it being exciting. You know, it's always gonna be exciting. But like I said, every time it gets to this level right here, it's gonna be all about defense. And you see the ones that don't play defense, they do not advance to this to try to win an NBA championship.
Thanks.
Hi Gary, Rohan from Times of India. You spoke of your excitement at being here and over the next few days, looking forward to obviously engaging with the fans. Just wondering, you'll be encountering of course a lot of fans who didn't watch you in your prime. And say if someone who had watched you, were to describe you to, the fan who got the opportunity, how would you like to be remembered, as one of the best point guards of all time, 2006 NBA champion, or, one of the best defensive opponents of Michael Jordan?
I don't care about being the best defender on Michael Jordan. That doesn't mean anything. I was the best defender on everybody. That's where the game was. I don't care about that. I guarded everybody. He wasn't just a focal point for me. Everybody in the NBA was a focal point for me. I would want to be remembered as the first two-way basketball player to play on both ends of the floor. I started that on playing both ends of the floor. I really didn't care about scoring. I cared about stopping the opponent, their best player. Because if I stop them, that means I stop their basketball team, because they can't function without him. So that's what it's all about with me. My legacy that started because of defense. People say that. That's great. I love it. But my legacy started off with me being just a complete basketball player. Both ends of the floor, complete. To know how to do both ends. To sacrifice my game if I'm struggling on the offensive end. Don't worry about offense. Let's worry about defense and trying to stop the other team from winning basketball games. When my era, we were only averaging about 80, 85 points a game in the 90s. That's what it was all about. And when you can do that, you have a chance to win games. Because if you're struggling on offense and you holding them to 68 points, you're always in that basketball game. And that's my legacy. I don't want anything else. And that's what I think my legacy is. To be in the first point guard to ever win the Defensive Player of the Year award in 1996. You know, that's an accomplishment that if a guard can control a game from a point guard's position, which big men really control it because they block shots and they change things. I changed it up on top of the floor from 94 feet all the way there. And that's what my legacy is about. That's why they probably put me in the Hall of Fame. That's why they probably put me on the top 75 of all time. Because of what I did as a player, just not being that one player just looking for one thing. I look for everything. It was a challenge for me every night to get out to stop anybody. I don't care who it was. That was my mentality, to go out and stop whoever I wanted to stop. And that's why my mentality was like that. And a lot of kids nowadays, you'll be surprised, in the United States who comes up to me. Kids that's 10 years old. I was like, you weren't even born when I was playing basketball. You weren't even born. And when they talk about basketball, and especially my grandson who's 5 years old, he knows about everybody in the NBA. Because you look at this YouTube, you look at all of this social media, and it gives you a time to look back on our era. I look back at my era all the time. When I look at Will Chamberlain, Jerry West, and people like that. I want to see that type of basketball and legacy, because I want to see what was before me and what led it up to come to me, and why did I get to that level. And that's what I want to see. And that's what's going to happen, and that's what kids are doing now. Kids are really looking at old school basketball. And when I look at it and I ask them, and I go and I say, what was the best era of basketball you ever seen? And I get most of them say the 90s, when I played. Because they see a lot of great basketball, a lot of great basketball players. And it's no knock to nobody else. It's just that that's what they see. They see a legacy like that, and I'm happy that I was in that legacy. And now, but we're evolving to this fast-paced three-point shooting, a lot of athletic basketball players, and it's great for our game. It's still great for our game. It's just a different era, different change, and we were in our era, and they're in their era now.
Hi Gary, I'm Shahid from Hindustan Times. You talked about 3x3 basketball being in the Olympics, and of course the IOC, they've talked about trying to approach more youth, and for them the shorter format for various sports is a good way to open the market up to different countries that aren't traditional basketball houses. So my question is similar to what rugby has with rugby sevens, and even closer to home cricket has with the T20. In the long run, is there a sort of a, for lack of a better word, danger to traditional five-a-side basketball, given that 3x3 is kind of picking up pace in lesser basketball dominant countries?
I think it's better on 3-on-3 because you don't have that 4-man and that 5-man coming to help. 3-on-3 is that you have to be accountable for your player, and it's more energy, and you have to be in more shape, because you're there on the half court playing all the time and digging it in. I've watched this for many years because I coached the big 3-on-3 in the summers. And I see these players getting in great shape and doing it. I think it's making them fun. Let's think about it. When I grew up, what was I doing? I was playing pickup basketball. Same thing as 3-on-3. It's a pickup basketball to keep yourself in shape, to keep you knowing how to play the game more smarter. Now you don't have that help weak side over there to pick up. Now you got to be that person who's accountable for your man. You can't get beat. You can't take chances. I think it makes you better in basketball because you don't take many chances. You have to be accountable for your team or your player, the person you're guarding. And I think it's a great thing. This weekend, a lot of these guys, they're going to get tired. Let's see which one gets smart. It makes you think about the game now. Because if you make one mistake, it's going to be a basket. And then you're going to be eliminated real quick with the rules because it goes quick. You don't got 4 quarters. You got a rule and a set because you'll lose real fast. I think it's a better thing for basketball because it makes them think more and be smarter in the basketball. Their IQ has to be very, very good. And I think that's what the 3-on-3 is doing because it's making you become a smarter basketball player because you don't have help from the other 2 players. You only got 3 and you have to be accountable for your player.
Yeah, once. I think I was just going to say that we have time for just about one more question.
Hi Gary, I'm from Sports Media, my name is Varun. I have 2 questions for you, which is on the same lines. You said that defense is important and it helps win games, right? My question to you is, what advice would you have for someone like a Luka Doncic, who's a great post defender, but he struggles with his versatility or he's not a great defender on the perimeter? The other question is, how do you stop someone like a Shioriy Alexander, who I won't say the foul merchant or anything, but he's just a great player when it comes to drawing fouls. He knows how to get to the line, he knows how to grip, and that's about it. So what's your advice on how to guard, and what advice would you have for someone like Luka Doncic on how to improve his defense?
Like I said, basketball is different than when I play because I can put my hands on it, I can hand check. We'll talk about Luka. You have to be dedicated to play defense. You got to be dedicated. Maybe that's not for him. He's a scorer. He can do it. Now, if he gets his mind to it, I tell every kid that I go and do camps with, I said it's a mindset to play defense. Not just say you want to play defense. You can't do that because you got to have a mindset to do that. You have to have great hands and feet to do that. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to be willing to take sacrifices to do things. And that's just the way it goes. I don't think Luka is a defensive player. I think he's a scorer. He's not one of that. But now, if he wants to, yes, he can get his mind to it to do it. But do we want to do it? That's left up to him. That's not left up to us. You know, he's an athlete. He's got great ability. Now, do he wants to go and change it and prove people wrong that he can play defense? If that was me, I would change it. I would say, yeah, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to defend somebody and I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna do the things that I need to do, and I'm gonna do that. You know, against basketball players like Shea, you can't stop anyone. Not a great defensive, offensive player. No one can be stopped. What you can do is you can contain them. And what I just said earlier with the 2 guards, if it was me coaching, I would take the ball out of both of their hands. I would make it very hard for them. I would put somebody on them, I would trap them, and then once he gets the ball out of his hands, I would deny him the basketball and make it hard to make it work. Because if you understand, not too many people are going to work more than 10 seconds to get the basketball back because they're going to get tired. And then that'll tire them out, and that'll make it very difficult. Make somebody else beat you. If you want to win games, don't let the star get to it. If you take him out, we have a better chance of doing what we do. So to me, I think you just have to contain him. He's averaging when he's doing 30s and 26. If I can hold him 20 to 18, I've done a great job. And that's what I would do.
Okay, bear with us, last question, and then we can wrap up.
Hello, I'm Shreya from Hindustan Times branch, and my question is for Vineet. How is BUDX NBA House redefining the cultural landscape of India's youth?
So, BUDX as a platform is all about bringing new forms of music and lifestyle and fashion together. I said earlier as well, 2017 is when we debuted here in India. This time we're very proud of the partnership with NBA. As you heard Gary and Raja talking about, NBA is a very, very fast growing sport in India, enjoyed by a lot of people, very culturally forward, bring a lot of lifestyle and fashion forefront, and it has fans at the ethos of it. And we believe we have a great partnership going, not only globally but now here in India as well. And you'll see in the next 3 days, it's not about, and I always say it's great story doing, but also storytelling as well. So we'll be creating a lot of amazing content, creating a lot of cultural partnersps that we see on the ground. I think it's a let's say two great equals have come together, bringing a lot of Americana heritage together. Budweiser, brand started from that. Same NBA, but both want to win in India. Both are aggressively growing their stature in India and keeping the fans and the communities in the center. I think that's something that not a lot of brands are thinking about. We are very fortunate that Budweiser is and NBA is. We like to believe a lot of young people, young Indians who want to either enjoy music, fashion or basketball will be supremely inspired by this event. And as I said earlier as well, this is the start of many, and not just one event. We want to continue with a lot more story doing aspects across different parts of India as well. So yeah, looking forward on both storytelling and story doing in the next 3 days.
Thank you, everyone. I think with that, we can conclude the press conference. Thank you so much for taking the time out. And thank you, Gary, thank you, Raja, thank you, Vineet, for taking the time out. There are snacks on the side and tea and coffee. Please help yourselves. Thank you very much.